What's good YouTube, welcome to a new video on the channel. Today we'll be talking about two of the most popular games by From Software, and those are Sekiro Shadows Die Twice and Elden Ring. Both From Software games, both Souls games, and both also known to be incredibly challenging games, but which one takes the #1 spot on difficulty? Is it Sekiro or is it Elden Ring? Before we get into it though, I do want to mention that the things you're about to hear me say are fully based on my preferences and my experience with both of these games. Without a doubt, I love both Sekiro and Elden Ring, and I think you should play them both regarding the difficulty if you haven't already. But just to get the billion-dollar question out of the way, and to not keep you guys in suspense, if you ask me, the most challenging game between Elden Ring and Sekiro has to be Sekiro, and here is why. Just to be clear here, we won't be focusing on which one of them is better, quote unquote, but more on which one of them is more challenging in terms of harder mechanics to master, difficult bosses, better bosses, and all of that, the factors that actually make a game more difficult, or don't. So the first thing I want to touch on is probably the deciding factor for many people when they have to choose which one is the hardest between Sekiro and Elden Ring, and that is which game you actually started playing first. So for example, we started with Elden Ring first and then we jumped into Sekiro, and when you go from the Dark Souls mechanics and having to dodge to the linear gameplay in Sekiro and having to deflect on time and do Mikiri counters and all of that, it definitely takes some time to get used to, and it is frustrating. But this could also work the other way around, right? So if you're somebody who started with Sekiro and you're used to deflects and that kind of movement and game mechanics, and if you try and switch to Elden Ring, you're definitely gonna have a very hard time getting used to those kind of mechanics and gameplay that the Dark Souls games have, including Elden Ring. I'm not saying that's what's gonna determine which game you find most difficult, but that is definitely a big factor. Hey, props to you if you're somebody who started with Sekiro, switched to Elden Ring, and you found Elden Ring way easier. You must be a pro Souls game veteran, or maybe just, somebody really good at video games. But if I talk about the next reason why I think Sekiro is more difficult than Elden Ring for me, it has to be the fact that in Elden Ring you can make so many builds, blood builds, arcane builds, magic builds, offense, defense builds. You can make very OP builds. Go find the most OP sword at Rivers of Blood, God knows what you can find, and you can literally just destroy every single boss. Doesn't matter if it's at the start, finish, Malenia, Radagon, nobody gives two single Fs, dude. If you got a very strong build in Elden Ring, life's much easier. On the other side, Sekiro does not have that. You spawn in, you're a lone wolf, you only have a katana. Yeah, you can get another katana, but it's not like you can make your own build, switch through tens of weapons and stuff like that. It's not like in Elden Ring, which for somebody like me who played Elden Ring and got used to that big variety and then came to Sekiro, it made stuff a lot more difficult, let me tell you. At the start, it felt like I was stuck kind of with the weapon, and I was so bad at the start that I was like, there's gotta be something else I can do, or a weapon I can get, or something I can change. But there's not, you just gotta get good. Now, one thing I do have to add on this fact is that Elden Ring is a ton more grindier than Sekiro is. To get that OP build you want, you'll need to grind a lot of runes, which usually takes some time. Yes, you can still grind in Sekiro a little bit, get some prayer beads and, kill some mini-bosses, but it's nowhere near as much as you have to grind in Elden Ring. Real quick guys, before we continue, if you do enjoy this video so far, feel free to hit that like button, it helps out a ton. And if you're new here and wanna keep in touch with us on the content, make sure to hit subscribe. We are also live every Tuesday, Thursday and Saturday over at twitch.tv/CJTheBross. So if you wanna come hang out with us while we play some Souls games, exchange thoughts live, preferences about any From Software games or any type of games in general, hopefully we see you there. Alright, now back to the video. Now the next thing that makes Sekiro more difficult than Elden Ring in my opinion is the navigation system. And what I mean by navigation system is the fact that in Sekiro you have no map. Like none, you have no map in Sekiro, zero. Of course you can fast travel, you can get you little checkpoints and you can travel wherever you want to go and stuff like that. But there's no map, unlike Elden Ring, where you have a map and you can unlock different parts of it as you go. Some of you guys may be watching right now and you may be like, CJ, this really isn't that big of a deal, and part of me really agrees with you. But the thing is, Elden Ring brought so many new people to the Souls games. Like, the people who just started the Souls games, your first Souls games you picked up is Sekiro, right? And you have no map. It's gonna be incredibly difficult for you to navigate and orientate in the game. While in Elden Ring you have a map and it's a bit easier, even though you don't have everything unlocked at once, you do have a map of where you've went to so far, which I think is still way easier and it eases it up, especially for newer players. Now this may not be a problem if you're a Souls pro or veteran, but if you're somebody who wants to get into Souls games and you're picking up Sekiro for the very first time, this navigation aspect of the game may cause you some trouble. I know for a fact it annoyed me at first and I got frustrated why there's no map in Sekiro, and it wasn't even my first Souls game, so that explains a lot. And another thing that makes Sekiro a bit more difficult than Elden Ring for me, and probably one of the most important things in this video, are the bosses. Now hear me out, both Sekiro and Elden Ring have incredible bosses. I have favorites from both games. But in Sekiro, bosses are so much more well made than Elden Ring. And that's not only a me thing, that is just straight facts. When you die from a boss in Sekiro, 99% of the time it's not bullshit. Like, you really know what you did wrong. Like, when you died, you know, you should have done that or this. In Elden Ring, however, a lot of bosses can be cheesed. But what does that mean? Basically, you can find a way easier method to beat the boss than how you're supposed to actually beat the boss, which obviously makes the game easier and not as interesting. So you guys know how in Elden Ring you mostly fight dragons, monsters, creatures as bosses, right? And in Sekiro you really have more bosses that are people. You got Genichiro, Ishin, yes, you obviously got the Guardian Ape and a lot of other creatures, but this is just my personal preference. I enjoy boss fights that are human to human kind of thing way more. And it brings me to my last point. Sekiro Shadows Die Twice as a game when you play it will make you feel like such a badass. It's not like you just, you just spawn in as a badass. You learn how to become a badass the more you play. Elden Ring is obviously the same, it's got progression and everything, but it doesn't really give off the same energy, I think it's mostly because of the mechanics. Elden Ring's combat mechanics, dodging and all of that just doesn't feel that alive in comparison to Sekiro. Obviously that's the classic Souls-like combat you get, but when comparing these two games I can't not mention this. Now before I wrap this video up, I want to ask the people who've played both Sekiro and Elden Ring a question, and I want you guys to reply in the comments down below. Who would you guys think wins in a fight? Malenia from Elden Ring or the Shinobi Wolf from Sekiro? Honestly, I've been in a debate with myself since I started filming this video, but I strongly think the wolf we control in Sekiro claps Malenia. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Could this be a topic for another video? Do you guys want us to, branch out more on this topic? With that being said, thank you guys for checking this video out and staying till the end. If it did help you in any way or another, feel free to hit that like button. And as I said, if you want to hang out with us live, tune into our streams. I'm very excited to see some of you all there. But yeah, let me know the answer to the question I just asked you guys in the comments. Have a good rest of your day, night, evening, morning, afternoon, whatever the time may be for you. Much love. Take care.